Welcome into another episode of Cheat Code Weekly, where we discuss everything video game collecting and investing. I am, of course, Greg, once again joined here by Henry, and today we have with us the second half of the Collector's Quest podcast. A few weeks ago we had Tyler, Default Gen. Now we have the actual founder of the podcast, Johnny Iucci himself. And as I understand, Johnny, you are much like Tyler, collecting everything and anything. I can see your display behind you here. It looks like full sets behind you. I think you have TurboGrafx, Sega CD, NES, NES, same NES and SNES is what I meant to say there. TurboGrafx and CD, which aren't really common at all. I saw that you wrote a guide for Sega CD collecting. I assume you have knowledge on, not kind of a guide?
Kind of. Well, I helped make the initial list. That's like a whole thing, but yeah, I don't maintain it anymore. It's been much improved since I left it, but I started.
No, I'm giving you credit on the original then, yes.
Yeah,
it seems like you have knowledge about anything and everything. That's why we wanted to bring you on here. But what really prompted it is Henry reached out because you had a comment there on the YouTube video talking about that you're maybe not the biggest fan of graded video games. Maybe you've softened your stance on them a bit since then, though. And of course, we also want to talk to you about ultra modern Nintendo Switch collecting in the future that it may or may not have. Because as I understand, you have some opinions about that as well. But welcome on. Thank you so much. And you can take the floor here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just used to trampling Tyler, so I just thought I would continue the tramp once I got here.
I saw you had a few there where you were coming in.
Well, Tyler's usually like a soft, 2-second intro, and then I have to go say something, and then So I'm jumping the gun. I'm a bad participant. Sorry about that.
Would you wait your turn, pal?
No. How about no? I won't. I'm on your show. I'll just do whatever. So I'm the worst half of Collector's Quest. Tyler's the best. Everyone knows that. Tyler makes the show run. He's great. It was a fun episode to watch him on. I enjoyed that you guys brought him out. And thanks for having me on. But yeah, I collect a lot of bullshit like Tyler. So that's our whole bent. We like games. So it's not like we like particular systems, but we like learning about games. That's our whole thing. Our podcast is very firmly edutainment, which is a place that everyone aspires to get to, is to be classified as edutainment. But that's kind of what we do. Like we learn and we inform as we go. And that's like when you talk about the guides, that's how I started. Like, okay, there's a lot of Sega CD lists out there. They're all bad and wrong. So I'm going to go fight people on this. Your list is wrong. That's like one of the things we say. All your lists are bad. Everyone's lists from now until forever, they're all bad and they'll all be improved as time goes on. That's the nature of
How long
lists,
ago were you building stuff for like Sega CD?
That was like 2006.
Oh my
2005.
God, man. You're Okay.
So yeah, like
I'm a baby. That's crazy.
So I just found a bunch of that stuff and I was like, oh, I don't think your list is right. It includes a bunch of unlicensed stuff. And it's like, no, it's right. And like there was a group called Sega 16, and they had some lists because I was like, oh, I found like this Sega CD, and I didn't really know anything about it, but they had Shining Force on it, and that's like one of my favorite games, right? Is like the Shining Force series. I'm a big Nintendo guy, but like I have this special place in my heart for Shining Force games, and I was like, oh, I'd like to learn about the Sega CD, but it seems like all this information is not great. So that's how that started. I was like, okay, well, I'll look into it, and then I'm like, okay, you're all wrong. I'm like, so I went down, and I'm like, here. It sounds like completely full. It's like, oh, this guy just thinks everyone was wrong. Yeah, it was a lot of research and stuff too. I didn't spend 5 minutes ago. Well, you guys all suck at this. But I mean, kinda. So I went through and said, all right, here's like a new list. And then there was another guy who was like simultaneously working on it. And we like compared notes, adjusted things, made the best list we could, and then said, okay, guys, here is your actual list of Sega 16 games. These are confirmed to exist. These ones don't exist. These ones are unlicensed. We found these variants, and we'll find more as we go along. And then I did the same thing with Sega Genesis. Like, I wasn't like a great list for that, especially for games that came in cardboard boxes. There was like, oh, we know all the games that came in cardboard boxes. Like, no, you don't. Let's look. So we spent like a year. Like, this isn't like Instagram. This is like digging through Digit Press and places like that, like through people's collection pictures, like blowing up images. Like, I think that's a cardboard box. You can kind of tell because there's a line break right here, or a spine wouldn't look like this. You'd see this little black ridge in a normal Genesis case. So And then like we had people helping out and submitting pictures until we got like a solid list. And that's one of the things that drives me. And that's why I do this. It's not, and that's kind of why I don't do sealed games is because I'm trying to learn what games are in a set, what games are in, for a system, and then what comes in them, what variants. Because I love variants, like all this dumb shit that comes with games. Like
Yeah,
I
I
want
think
to
I
know about
saw
that.
on your thing there, you had like the Grinch that included a little book on your thing. You had
Yeah.
a Dracula Sega CD variant there, I guess, that has something different about it I'd never even seen before. I don't think I'd seen the Grinch before either. Yeah, there,
Yeah.
that Sega CD one.
This this right
y-
here. This
you're
this dumb
chasing
variant.
after the nittiest of the grittiest. And like I
Yeah.
like getting into the nitty gritty too. That's what thrived me long before I did sealed and graded was variant hunting and 64 variants. Right, I went down with like the Rampage big box, the Tarzan with the figures, all that stupid stuff. Really, are you about to pan to them?
All that
Yeah,
stuff
okay,
up
there we
there.
go.
You want a Tarzan big box and like a gauntlet with a figure and stuff?
Yeah, and that I at that
Yeah.
point, right, like now in 2025, I call that stuff like basic variants because
Yeah, that oh my God, I messed up everything.
Johnny, come back.
I'm here. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, you
that
made
stuff's
it.
like basic variants based on what
Yeah.
I now see people do in 2025, which is just
Oh,
so insane.
well, now everyone's like into like, oh, well, did you check the back because the publisher changed their address? And that's very
Yes,
Yeah.
exciting. I'm like, okay,
that's
you're
where
right.
we're at.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's become an important step, and and that's where I'll say that's part of the reason. So you asked about softening on graded games. One, because there's a lot of information that has come out from people who have graded games. I don't want to like I'm not here just to completely just dump on graded games and say they're all garbage and no one should ever do that. It's a completely different market. It's completely different people, and it has brought like a new portion of collectors in, but we're not the same people, right? Like the same people who are hardcore sealed collectors, hardcore graded people aren't the same guys who are collecting dumbass bullshit sets. It's not feasible today either. Like collecting has completely changed. It is a cosmic shift from where we were in like 2008, 10, and 12 to where we are in 2020, 2022, and 2025. These are
when
like
did when did
not
you
ever the same.
finish a lot of your set collecting? Because you have multiple
Yeah.
multiple full sets behind you.
Yeah, so I like it just like depended, like it went through. So I was like a set a year for a while, like was being closed out. Like I would be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this one right now. Well, like, but I would buy opportunistically, right? So I would have an idea of where I wanted to get to, and then as you see good deals, you pick stuff up. Just a total garbage man. So it was like,
I did the same thing. I get
yeah,
it.
hunted good deals. And like Tyler said something smart. Like when you start collecting, you're so bad at collecting. You are the worst collector. And this is like, and back in the day, we were just bad collectors. Just like the idea is like, well, we'll just get everything. We'll get everything, guys, and it'll be great. We'll
You
just
have a
own every
miracle
video
piano,
game.
I think. Speaking
Yeah,
of,
that's the Genesis Miracle Piano, the
even
hard one
worse.
to get. Yeah, yeah, the dumb one to get, the dumbest one to own, and it's up there. Do you know how big and stupid that is?
I just sold
Yeah,
one, dude. I
he
do.
knows.
I
Yeah,
do.
it's the worst. It's like, oh, and how many do I have? How many do I have, Greg? Do I own three
Why?
Miracle Pianos?
You had three miracle
Yeah, I've
pianos? You
got
had the
yeah, because
SNES one too?
yeah, and the Nintendo one because I'm an idiot. And like they're in the garage. Like one of them got shipped just in its box. They just put a label on it and just like, oh yeah, because of course this is how they'd ship it. And it's like, I
To be
hate this the
honest to God,
worst.
how else are you shipping it? I just sold mine local for whoever would give me money. Like I just
Yeah,
wanted it gone.
yeah, it's big and stupid. It's the worst thing I own, probably. And yeah, it's stuck in my house forever, and no one will ever. There will be somebody like me. That's why I have to have a podcast. I have to infuse this idea that this is great. So someday when I'm done, someone's like, "I heard you say this is great, and I definitely wanna. I want to get that from you, please."
Creating your future
So you-
liquidity, like one
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
He's
episode.
pumping,
Yeah,
man. He's
that's what we do.
pumping.
People don't know we're like you think we're not an investment podcast, but we're investing in our own collections here and how we get out of it. We've been trapped there for many years.
Yeah,
So
like seriously. So did you avoid sealed games specifically then? Like you spoke to it a
no,
bit
no,
there, but
no. So I didn't like that's the thing. When you're just like, okay, like I want to see I kind of need to see the contents of games. Like, oh, I want to see what's inside. And sometimes I didn't care and it's like, okay, well, why am I gonna 2 or 3x a price on a game when you're trying to buy 10,000 games? You're just like, this is not a decision that makes sense. And it's not like there was a market where you're like, oh yeah, there's like Sealed Haven or whatever the stupid site was that guys were on back in
Yeah.
the day. And they'd come in, they talk about it, and they're like, oh, have you seen these Y folds, guys? This H seam is so. It's like this is the least interesting thing you can talk to me about. Like, I don't give a shit about this. This is terrible. Oh, but guys, the Y folds. No, that one didn't come in a Y fold. It's a reseal. Man, talk about the worst, most boring conversation. I would rather talk about Miracle Piano.
It's
Let's talk
funny,
about
like that
Miracle
is
Piano
like
content.
those conversations is literally what I guess brainwashed me on Nintendo Age. Was
Yeah,
though, and I found it interesting. I was like, oh my god, you're
yeah,
right. That is a Y fold seal. Like, and I'm writing down notes. What do you mean Final Fantasy VII has 3 different seam variants? Like, that's awesome.
yeah. It's like, oh no, no, like you don't understand. So some of these were factory reseals, and oh, we got the Toys R Us reseals over here. It's not a real sealed game. Like I did like that stuff's interesting to kind of know exists, but that does not, as a collector, I don't. I'm not collecting that thing, right? And that's where and like I was never a big condition guy either because I'm not like I need to have the mintiest stuff around. Now I'm a lot in the podcast of do as I say, not as I've done. Like, this is a terrible idea. Do not recommended. Don't do this. People are like, I want to get into sets. I'm like, no, you don't. Please stop that. Let me tell you the right way to collect. And this is something Tyler and I will say all the time. Like, what you want is a curated collection full of good, nice stuff. You want some of it graded? Great. What are your 50 favorite games?
Yeah.
What is the nicest condition you can afford to get them in? That's what you should buy. That's what you should do. They're like, but you've got some. I'm like, because I've got brain rot and I tricked myself into being like, I could own every game one day. Like I was like 10 when I said that, and I didn't have the wisdom to go, maybe 10-year-olds aren't smart enough to make this decision for your future self. So now I have a room full of this crap, and I mean I'm disparaging on it. I love it. It's for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
I love this stuff. I don't want people to like. I am passionate. I love this dumb shit. I love collecting variants. Like, who else is out there spending money on whatever the fuck this is?
Is
This
that with
is
a
daring games
book?
for
I
girls.
don't know
It's
what
But
it
look,
is.
guys, it comes with a book. You ever seen this one? And it's not just like a store did it because look, they've got an official back insert in here, so we know that it was actually created. Oh,
We need the
cool.
title. What is that?
Daring game for girls on the DS, also available on the
Daring
Wii, but
game
no
for
book.
girls.
So yeah, like who cares about this? There's also a Nancy Drew one, very exciting. But like that's the kind of stuff I get excited about. When did I buy that? Just recently. So have I learned anything? Yes. Have I applied any of that knowledge? No, not
Like
at
you
So
all.
you
said, do
un-
is go ahead.
so
Go
you
ahead.
understand the people who do graded then,
I like
right?
yes and no. Like what I don't understand. So here's my beef, right? Here's where I
Yeah.
think graded collectors are the worst and why I don't want to
Okay.
deal with them. Not because I don't like graded stuff. It
No,
was
no.
like literally
Tell
the
us that we
sealed guys.
suck.
The sealed guys came in and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, this is like very interesting. Like you don't understand how hard it is to find a 9.4 A plus triple double stamp seal of a minus Z. You're like you don't understand all these." I'm like,
Do you mean
"You're right.
Section Z?
Yeah, I don't. You're right. I don't care about any of this. I don't care
Okay.
how like you don't understand conditional rarity and how rare the condition is. I'm like, so you're chasing the number. Do you care about the game? No, I only buy tens. Fucking cool. Cool, cool, cool.
I've
So you don't love Zelda, you love a 10?
I've
Can I print
unironically
some
seen
numbers for you?
VGA 100 Switch collections of just like kind of shitty games, but they're all a 100, and it's like,
Yeah, doing it wrong. So this is like an interesting thing I used to say, like, because we'd be into it and like, oh, only rare games are the coolest. I'm not that guy. I was like, I think the hobby is not that, actually. I think there's a bunch of old men who have convinced themselves that the rarest shit is the coolest shit. I like some of that stuff, like, oh, like Little Samson, stadium events. You guys seen Flintstones 2 Dinosaur Peak? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got them. I don't care about them, but yeah, yeah, cool.
yeah, yeah. In
I'm
my
like,
opinion, like just
yeah,
to give you a bit, is
yeah,
that was as equally uninteresting to me though. Like as a top chase, right?
yeah,
As your biggest
yeah,
chase, Because that's where sealed and graded went for me. It was like, okay, I can go and buy Little Samson. Who gives a shit? Flintstones 2. Who gives a shit? Or I could go after some rare variant in awesome condition. Because you need that chase.
Yeah, you have to look at something. Also, like Mario and Zelda are your keys, right? Like if you're coming from a place of comic books, you need franchise players to come out and be the face of your hobby that people are going to look at. You need Pokemon, you need Mario out there, you need Zelda, you need your Metroids, you need a Sonic, you need these things to bring people into the hobby. I am not going to get anyone interested when I'm like, guys, have you heard of Little Samson? They're like, a Bible story? You're like, no, it's not. That's not what this is. You're like, no, like you need that. So I was always like, we need popular characters to be like kind of the face of the hobby. And like what I want is things to be desirable and also valuable. Like it needs to be like there has to be a demand, right? So you need this demand curve. Everyone wants Mario. The price Marios are too cheap. I used to say, I'm like, Mario is too cheap a game. You can go buy a black box Mario, and there's like when famously Tyler didn't have like a black box Mario. And I was like, what are you doing? It's like one of the best games ever made. It's like the face of Nintendo. You got to go get yourself a buy. He's like, I don't really care. And he
I
went
feel
and
bad.
eventually did it. He went and
Greg,
did it.
you
Yeah,
should have
but
listened
like,
to Johnny,
I feel
man.
bad.
go,
You should have
like
listened
go
to
get
Johnny
yourself.
too.
That's like the thing. I'm like, and you need your Zelda. Like that's like if you're, I mean, go collect whatever you like. That's another thing. Like I see you got like a sweet Diablo back there. Like cool. Like this.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
some franchise.
When
players,
Mario was $300 for an oval
Yeah.
seal sealed, like I didn't buy one.
yeah. So
I was busy
like,
chasing fucking Flintstones.
yeah, you got Mario and Zelda on your wall though. Why?
Yeah,
It's
no,
not
of
Little
course.
Samson. It's not
Yeah.
Little Samson. Why isn't it Little Samson? Because that's not. People don't give a shit about that. Like people love pop culture. People are invested in. So like we need that stuff. But yeah, like as far as the graded stuff, like people like Nintendo Age would be that like hard rarity stuff. It's like that's not interesting. Chasing
You are a
conditions aren't
variant guy,
interesting.
though, right? Like you just showed me
Yeah,
daring games for girls. So
yeah,
does a TM5 screw Zelda get you going?
not really. Like the amount of screws a game. Like I'm interested to know that, but and like look. I have a 5-screw TM Zelda with a big sticker seal map. Okay.
Okay, yeah, this guy,
All right, yeah,
this guy.
Yeah, I know
Collects.
my difference between my TMs and my Rs. Yeah, it's like yes, I know that. Okay, yeah. Well,
But
5-screw punch out versus a 3. Like, yeah,
Okay,
like,
yeah. Did you care about stuff like that? 5 screws,
I
like
like
the Punch Out Mega Man.
yeah, or like a Ninja Kid with a hang tab versus not a hang tab,
Yep.
and the not a hang tab is actually the rarer one. Cool. Anyone know that? No. Anyone care? Let's
Does
like,
anyone care?
yeah, no. Like, so yeah, I know about it, but like, I'd be like, okay, that's a cool thing to know, but like, I don't care about it. Like, I started to care, like, okay, I take my own advice a little bit. Like, you should have some nice, good stuff. Like, okay, yeah, like, make sure you have a Zelda. Like, oh, I love Castlevania. Castlevania, one of my favorite games. I love Halloween. I love horror. So I'm like, of course, I'm gonna go get the right hang tab Castlevania. I'm gonna get the first print Castlevania. I'm gonna make sure I've got the both versions of the label, the overlap and the non-overlap. Like, yeah, like I get into the dumb, and that's like a lot of that came from like hardcore, like graded collectors, sealed collectors, trying to figure out which one was going to be in their sealed box, and it's like kind of hard. Or you're like, okay, well, you look at this print. So a lot of these guys, and that's what I'm thankful for. Graded guys brought in some information, but I never want my conversation to be about plastic, which is what I feel like the sealed conversation, not the graded conversation, but the sealed conversation gets to. Also, I feel like graded games are in a bullshit state right now, full of nonsense. People are like, oh, yes, my complete game is a 9.6. Oh, is it complete? How do you know? Oh, well, it's got a manual, a cart, and the box. Okay, well, you got a precautionary manual. You got the label. You got the like little warning in there. The
Do
epilepsy
generic
warning? What do
inserts
you got?
matter?
Yeah, because they're not actually all that generic,
Well,
right?
no, but
So,
the
depends.
the precautions
Nintendo Power.
booklet or the like those
Nintendo
shitty ones.
Nintendo Power. Like I think, look, if they're so generic and they're so ubiquitous and they're easy to find, then why doesn't your nice fucking game have one?
I mean, I have a whole bag of them. I'm
Me too. I went to Midwest Gaming Classic, and what do you think I bought? Man, I just bought a pile of inserts. That's
Yeah.
all I go and buy. I'm like, sweet. I got 50 Game Boy precautionary manuals here. Great. 1 through 10. We've got some U's in here, some C's in here. Sweet. Like,
People disrespected them so much that I would never include them with games when I sold them. because like it didn't
Yeah.
matter, so I just kept them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You guys don't care about this. Like, okay,
So I'm
you
not
don't
getting
care.
even when I grade shit. I don't include
Yeah.
those. They don't care, so I'm keeping them.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm like. They're like, oh, it's the nicest, most. I'm like, no, it isn't. It's missing stuff. You got the baggie in there. I mean, I don't really care about baggies, but you got one in there. Like, don't tell me it's complete. Don't tell me it's 100%. And
I
then they're like,
think
mismarried
CGC
parts.
has the moniker for
Yeah,
100% complete if you include that bullshit. I'm
yeah.
pretty positive.
But here's my next issue with it. Factories are not perfect, pure entities that just did everything 100% correct all of the time. You think a factory line stopped a production of a game because they didn't have a Nintendo Power insert or that extra little pink slip in the back of it, or they were missing a baggie that day? You think they stopped a line for that? I'm going to tell you, as someone who works in factory production and has been to factories, absolutely not. Like certain parts, like if a factory has anything, they have every factory has something called the defective rate, right? So if you are going to have X amount of defects per product, no matter what, and how acceptable are those defects? So they'll have a code, right? And so these codes are acceptable defects. These ones are not. Have to hard like push them off, or they become of something called the second quality, right? And those might have been sold at KB. So you might have had a whole packet of stuff that went to KB, a secondary reseller that like got stuff with like a label error or like was missing an insert or missing a map because they knew. And so they're like, well, we're not going to stop the line back this. We're going to charge the line back X%, and this is going to go out and we're going to seal it up and it's going to be a sealed game. So when there's like all these errors happen, and then you've got multiple factories producing games to guarantee that they all produced exactly the same stuff in multiple print runs, especially when people like a lot of times don't even know what the -2 is on like a game or a -1. You're like, you're here to tell me you know what that means? Okay, tell me what it means. Oh, well, it means there was a revision. Okay, so if I have a Mario and it's a -1, does my instruction manual need to be a -1? Yes. That's not true because the revisions may have happened at separate times. So a -1 doesn't always need to be with the -1. It depends at the time that it was created. So how do you know that this is a mismarried part? Get the fuck out of here. That's not right. That's objectively wrong. So fuck off. Sorry, language, but like
In
this is
that
this is
regard,
not true.
again, in defense, I'm pretty sure there's leniency in discussion where that
Yeah.
can be the case.
Yeah. So I mean, and like
Because it's not a
lot of
perfect
these,
science. I get it. It's
no,
not.
that's what I'm
It
saying.
can't
But
be.
people and that like the graders over there, like I know a lot of these guys who've gone to work for them. These are smart old school collectors who've been doing it for a long time. They got an F ton of knowledge, uh, perfect people out there to be doing it.
Yeah, maybe we should
Good
go back
system.
a little bit further than
Yeah,
there. So you, in your comment you wrote there, you got
yeah.
killed by collectors non-sealed
Oh
when you were
yeah,
starting off with the guys at WATA and everything. How far back do
yeah.
you go knowing these guys and stuff?
So like Dennis Kahn, right? Not that I need to invoke like the devil's name or whatever. I don't know how he's
Trigger
viewed on
warning?
your channel.
Like,
Yeah, trigger warning, guys. Like I like Dennis, right? It's nothing against Dennis, but people, the minute I say Dennis Kahn, people, I'm a shill, I'm an idiot. I'm like, guys, I own like two graded games, and the one I showed you isn't even from WATA. First off, I've never given WATA a dollar of my money, and I have known Dennis since he was like 13 on Nintendo age, right? So, like, he's a good, passionate dude who loves games, and I knew him and so like when they were starting out WATA, like we were one of the initial groups that they brought, and like they showed the case to, and they're like, "Hey, what do you guys think of this case? I think it's garbage. I think this is a trash case. It looks awful. I don't like it.
You
It's
were
too
correct.
big."
The first
Yeah,
gen WATA case is a
yeah.
abomination.
And like that's the kind of feedback I gave them. But this is before they're even WATA, before they've graded their first game. They've just got stuff. I'm in a small meeting room with them in Portland,
Were
and we're
you
talking
like
about that.
insider Nintendo age group then? Like, what was your link?
Not well, so like not really. And like I was always like kind of on the outskirts. Like I knew a lot of guys. Like
Okay.
they knew me. Like I kind of knew Dane, right? But I wasn't friends with Dane. Like I'm not on a text group with any of these guys
That's what I was
sending
gonna say because
messages.
I know they had their like inner sanctum or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Like and like I'm not here to kiss Nintendo age guys' asses. I made no friends over there a lot of times because you want to hear some like oh, are these people like all shilling and like trying to pump their own stuff? That yes, they have been since the early days. That what they used to do on eBay is go on eBay, list a rare game, like they'd list their Flintstone 2, and then their buddy would come and buy it for a higher price. And back before eBay even had sellers fees, right? Or buyers like fee, like that fee was not there. So you could just sell and then just like canceled the transaction, and eBay collected no money. It was
Are
just the
you
listing
telling me
fee.
market manipulation happened before
Oh
WATA
my
Games?
God.
Yeah,
Weird,
like,
weird. So I made a lot of friends when I was like, well, I've been tracking your guys' eBay names because you could like go back through, and I'm like, I've noticed these 5 guys, and I think I know who you guys are on Nintendo Age. And let me tell you, the private messages I got over that were not kind, telling me to shut my stupid mouth and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, well, if I don't know what I'm talking about, why are you guys so angry about it? Because I haven't really said anything yet. That's weird. So yeah, this is like guys knew me. Some guys like they knew I helped and they knew like I knew stuff. So like I
okay.
kind of got lumped in like maybe begrudgingly, but some of the guys liked me, but not like any of the main guys. Like Dane was on my podcast really early.
Okay.
Came in and like we talked and like I talked to Dane because I'm also not afraid to reach out to anyone. Just be like, hey, what's going on? What's
Yeah,
this?
I was
Tell
way
me
too
this.
young. I was afraid. Like I
Yeah.
didn't like
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, what we're talking about video games. I'm like, well, I'm supposed to show you a weird amount of deference. That's like, not,
It was a
don't.
weird group though. Nintendo Age was
Yeah,
really weird with cliques and
yeah.
like
I mean,
hierarchy and shit. It was
they were,
weird.
yeah, there was like this click, and I just didn't respect that. I was like, okay, we're all just guys. We all just like games, and that's been the thrust of our podcast. Like, we're all just guys. We don't like games. I'm going to tell you a lot of stuff that is my perspective. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just some dummy on the internet. Like, don't listen to me. Do what you want. Like, grade your games. Look, if you think a 9.8 A plus plus is the best shit ever, cool. Cool, great. Good for you. That's awesome that you like numbers. I like games. So we won't agree.
We
You
could
know,
both
that's
like we could like games and numbers at the same time.
you can. And I'm a math guy. I love lots of numbers. All I
Yeah,
do is like
yeah.
spreadsheets. It's my whole job. I'm an analyst, right? So like I love some numbers, but that's not what I'm doing here. And that's why I haven't gotten into great games. Like sealed, I want to
I
be able to
think
open it. I want to touch it.
yeah.
I want to see
Yeah,
my
I get
stuff.
it. We're just different collectors. You're going
Yeah.
after all the hardcore variants. You want to know everything. And people like me, who's a freaking dummy, all I want to see is a nice seal,
No, and
right?
but that's
And
fine.
that's fine.
Henry, you're not
Exactly.
wrong. You should
Yeah,
want
I'm
that.
not.
You
I know.
your collection, like when you are 60 and you're like, no, I'm tired of all this and I would like to
Yeah.
move on. You know how much
Yeah.
easier your life is going to be than mine? I'm just
Yeah,
going to be
I don't
like,
have to look around three miracle pianos, man.
no, no. Like if I ever move, it's like, oh God, how do I even move this stuff at this point? Like, I mean, I know how. Like I have like when you are this deep in, you're like, I have these boxes that I really like. These are the best boxes to move video games. Do you guys know about
Yeah.
these boxes? Like it's literally a thing we talk about on the podcast because I talk to a bunch of degenerates who also like this stuff.
Well,
You
you
know,
went to the
it's
container store and all that stuff, and you're figuring out all the different container configurations you had to do. I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah.
I have been to the container store multiple times. I do that like for my shoes too. Like I'm just a weirdo upset. Like here's what I am. Like this weird obsessive OCD guy who's like, you know what I love? I love boxes. I love putting things in boxes and seeing how they all fit in boxes. Look at all the like shelves are basically
It looks
just
nice
upright
though. It looks
boxes.
amazing.
Yeah, so
You
it's
can
like,
tell you care. It's
yeah, I'm
well
like, how do I
kept.
make these boxes look nice? Like that, and that's
You make all those CIBs look like nine eights, man.
yeah.
They look
Well,
amazing back there.
box protectors go a long way to hiding a lot of the shame that's in there. That it's basically a
All
push-up
the
bra for
shame.
video games, which is a beautiful thing. Like if you don't like, man, you can make the trashiest game suddenly have stability and look pretty nice on the shelf. You're like, oh, look at all those Super Nintendo games. I bet they're all nines.
I mean,
There's some of that.
and I think that's where graded comes in. Like for someone like me who doesn't have the space to have, like, God knows how many you have, like tens of thousands of games. I let's say I only want like 50 to 100 games. I feel like graded is where it comes into play. It's like I just want these 50 to 100 games mean something more than what I could just get on eBay, you know?
Yeah,
And
you,
having
you're
that
you're
conditional
right.
rarity makes all the difference in something that's mass manufactured.
Yeah,
So,
you guys, again, it's all mass manufactured bullshit. So again,
yeah,
you should get the nicest you can afford, the
yeah.
best condition, the most complete. Like that's when people are like, oh, I don't care about the baggies and stuff. I'm like, wrong. Because one day
I
people's
agree.
opinion, you're wrong right now. I can tell you you're wrong. Look, as a guy who was once like, well, I don't really read the manuals, so what do I give a shit if I get the manual?
Like people who on SNES who are like, "Oh, who needs a registration card? It doesn't matter." Like, get your
We,
fucking registration cards. Get
you
them.
know, you know how hard it is to find registration cards now? You know
Yes.
how many maps and posters are in Super Nintendo? There's like 720 games. 480 of them have a poster, okay, and a reg card.
I didn't
You
know
what?
it's that high.
Yes,
That's insane.
there was some imperative though. It's like 400. Over half the system is supposed to have a stupid poster. Who has posters in their games? I'm going through right now and just tears, just waterfalls of tears, as now like people have done really good jobs of like getting information together and like being like, oh, this is what's happened now. And that's again bringing it back to the graded and the sealed stuff and video games becoming more popular, gaining a new audience, people who had a respect for data and were like, oh, this data and all these lists are kind of bad. Let's improve them. Let's do the research. Let's look into games. And that started to happen more than just owning games now. And that kind of became the hobby. And like, so I'm like in this weird spot again, always in the middle. I used to fight with guys who were like, I can't believe you just bought all those games and put them on a shelf. Aren't you going to play all your games? All your games
They still
are
exist.
just on the
They
shelf.
still exist.
Trust
know,
me, that's still...
It's Reddit.
They
It's
still
Reddit,
exist.
and they're trash people. They can stay on Reddit. Yeah. F Reddit. I don't care. The opinion of anyone on Reddit means very little to me. Because I'm out here doing something else. And like, go enjoy all your games. Yes, if you want to play them, that's cool. I'm not like, you graded them so you can never play them. Great. Perfect. That's ideal. If I need to play a game, trust me, I got 1,000 ways to play video games. This is not it. Oh my God. Like no one's out there being like, you didn't lick all of your stamps. They never made it on a letter. Like, no shit, guy. I just collected them. Like no one's like, oh, have you seen this penny, this black wheat penny? Have you seen it? It's worth 100,000. Oh, you should have spent your coins. Like no one says that, but everyone's like, play your games, set them free. Like
it's a weird stigma that this hobby carries very strongly.
And people should knock it off. They should grow up. Grow up. It's fine if it's a collectible. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to be over here doing what I want to do. And what I want to do is know what's in there and make them look nice on my shelf and think about them.
Were you
ever even played that game?
Cycling back then, you were very early with WATA Games. Did you ever care about VGA? Did you have a relationship with that at all? How did you view them in the hobby space?
Garbage. Yeah. VGA is straight up trash.
Say it louder for the believers.
Yeah. So all you out there who are like, VGA, because they'll grade anything. Think about that statement. They'll grade anything. What does that mean their expertise must be like? Let me consider of all the video games and how much I know about video games and how much all the guys I know about video games. Let's say all those guys and all of their collective knowledge isn't at VGA. So how much does VGA know about all these games? So like, well, I don't need to know much. I just need to know that these corners look clean and I'll just put it in a really shitty acrylic box. That's definitely not safe. Like, don't worry guys. Your games are protected. They're tamper-proof. No one has ever cracked VGA and their top security chiefs.
It's like, okay, so you say this, right? And I know from my own experience with them, when I knew kind of fuck all about the hobby, I was getting games rejected by VGA. They rejected 2 GBA games that use Y-folds. How deep are you in Game Boy Advance? Do you?
Ooh, got about 700
Oh fuck,
GBA
you got all
games.
So Boo's Fury and Dragon Ball Z Teiketsu. They're both Atari boxes. They're like kind of hard white cardstock. They came with Y-folds. Very few games on Game Boy Advance do. VGA rejected them both. I had my Dragon Warrior 1 HP. They'd never heard of that before. And this is like circa 2016. So the big thing for me, like I always liked VGA because they were all that existed. I wanted to do graded shit. They were what existed. I didn't really have a choice. But as I learned more about WATA Games, like obviously first it was like, oh my God. I didn't really get it because everything was selling for 10 times what it was selling for 3 weeks ago or whatever. You know what I mean? We all watched the pump real time where it was like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then it was
insanity.
Like, yes, it didn't make sense, right? But then it was like, oh my God. What I saw from WATA, I don't want to just glaze WATA, but they actually gave a shit about variation. It felt like it was actually
careful. You're being really. There's a whole collective of the internet who hates you now.
I know. I got to be careful with my words. But you mentioned Dennis Kahn now, who is truly been lambasted as the devil, and it's like he gave a shit. Him being at the head and having some of those Nintendo age guys, they had resources and access to some of the deepest collecting knowledge that did exist.
Yeah,
like on the internet.
Absolutely. And that's what I told people. I was like, well, if I'm going to choose one, it's never going to be VGA because they're trash. So like you should like if you're going to send it to people, I know these guys. They're smart guys, and they like they know and they care about games. So whatever else happened, whatever if you're like, oh well, and these investors got in and the $1 million Mario and
Yeah, I don't
all
give a
these
shit about a
yeah
fucking dentist who bought video
yeah
games. I care if the
no
company knows about them.
right right and the look, I don't like dentists in any scenario. Sorry, dentists out there. You fucked up my hobby, and and Tyler would be like, they didn't come in and ruin it. It's like, yeah, a little bit they did. And people say, oh, it's a different market, and I'll say that too. But it did make a group of people objectively look at games as a different type of object and a different type of financial proposition, and it was propped up largely by those insane WATA sales. And then like again, then you got all the people who are like, oh, well, then what I have because it's nice is clearly treasure. It's like, ma'am, that game is Family Feud on the NES, and still no one gives a shit about it. Like this, no one cares. But everyone's like, no, I think every game is $1,000 now. Like so, you just had to like beat that down. Like the mind share. It wasn't like the hardcore collectors. It was just like the subset of people who came in who weren't informed. And then like you had sealed guys coming in like talking to me about plastic, but know nothing about games because they were just like in sports cards their whole life. And I'm just like, again, they're like, you don't know about nine. I don't, buddy. You can barely spell video game, let alone tell me anything about one. So I don't. I'm sorry if I don't value your opinion. So that's where my beef came with the graded games. Also, like I was like,
Yeah, I get
I like Dennis. I think he knows a lot, and I think these guys are okay. They're like, well, you obviously are a shill, and you love WATA, and they're paying you. I'm like, no, I just think that these guys like you're telling me that you're going to go do this. You're telling me I'm have sealed games. It's become a financial proposition now. That we can't dispute that. It became a financial proposition, especially 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
It exists. If you're telling me, if you're asking me where you should send it, the WATA, they're like, oh, but they're in bed with the auction houses. Oh, this auction house has been sued. Hey, you ever looked into Sotheby's? You ever looked into Christie's? All these auction houses have been sued. Every single one of them. All of them are in bed with each other. All of them have pump schemes that have been applied to them. They allow bidders, people who own the item, to bid on their own item. Yeah, this is not a real market. This is not a regulated market, you dummies. Of course, there's a bunch of things that can break the rules, which expose you to people pumping and dumping. And why do you think they're here? Why do you think like they're leveraging you? So it's like this is, and then people get that like they get this mindset like, oh, everything's a treasure, everything's going to the moon. I'm gonna definitely spend $200,000 on Tecmo Bowl.
I think it was only 144, but yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. That's a deal. Can we check the last auction on Tecmo Bowl now and see what it is? I've
Yeah.
got the only sealed Urban Champion in a 9.8. Cool guy. Cool, cool, cool. Because we've long talked about how much we all revere and love Urban Champion.
Is Black Box a worthy collectible?
Yeah, I was collecting. I had a black box set before people were like, we all like on Nintendo Age. It was like, yeah, man, black box. This is the original shit right here. Nintendo came out. These were the games. This is
Yes.
like where the good stuff, man.
Yes.
It's like, are they all the best games? No, but this is where it started. This is the first run.
I think there's merit to that.
Yeah, no, I do too. I had them before. It's like when people tell me like, oh no, the actual original ones had hang tabs. I was like, oh shit. I used to get rid of hang tabs because they were always in worse condition. Because that used to be my thing. I'm like, I don't want a hang tab. That shit always looks busted.
I never
Like,
knew what
let me-
sticker seals were.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I was like, I don't want this. Like, but this is back in, oh, I'm a dummy. It's 2007. I don't know. How many good hang tabs did I just like sell off because I was like, I just want a nice flat back of my box without a hole in it. Okay. Like, whoops. We learn and we
Johnny.
grow.
Do you still think video games are a financial proposition in 2025?
Yes, but less so. And I think they'll stay that way. I think as more people come into the hobby, and I hope more people come in. And this again, why I want to come on here and just be like, I don't hate graded games, man. Like if you guys like graded games, please come in. What I want is more people in the hobby. I want more learning. I want more people to talk to. I want you all in here. Please come in. You're all welcome. That's why I'm always like, don't listen to me. I'm my own version of a dummy, okay? I've exposed to you multiple times how fucking stupid I am and told you, like, I keep making dumb mistakes. I just showed you daring games for girls, okay? I spent $50 on this. And you want to know how happy I was to spend $50 on this? I looked for this for a long time. I was really happy to give them $50 when I found it.
Speaking
Okay,
of Game
so
Boy Advance, do you have the
yeah,
Franklin with the plush? I wish I had that on hand.
I do. Yeah,
Yeah, of
there's a
course you
couple
do.
games with.
Of course you
There's a
do.
couple. We did a whole episode like as a joke because I used to say, "Oh man, I'm flush with plush," because I know all these dumb games that come with plushies, right? So I'm like, okay,
The
there's
March of
like,
Penguins. Do you have that one? The
yeah,
March of
March of the Penguins
Penguins.
is one of them. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's the princess
I
games.
had that one and the
Yeah,
Franklin one, and I sold it off
You're
for
a
like
true collector,
garbage
Henry.
back
you
You
did
then.
should have
it.
stayed
Yeah,
in.
well, I got rid of them. I got rid of them because I'm like, why do I have this garbage, bro?
Yeah, Henry heard me talk about it once probably, and it was like that does seem cool. I trick people, man. I
Uh,
apologize to all the normal people in the world I ruined. Don't
I
buy
I
that.
just feel
the
like stuff
worst.
like that was kind of the gateway beforehand. The Babar, what's going on with that one?
Just a sealed Babar. Just a rare. Hey, you care about rare GBA games? There you
Is
go.
Babar rare?
Yeah, it's a Canadian only game, we think. I have to do more research, but yeah.
All
That
right,
looks sealed,
all right.
man.
Oh, it
That
is
looks
sealed.
sealed.
Yeah. This is a sealed game, guys. Uh-oh. Do you
Nine
want to
eight, baby.
expose?
Nine
Do you
eight.
want to
Nine
expose
eight.
me? Oh, yeah, that's probably a 9.4. Sorry, it's got
Oh,
a
nine
little,
four. Oh.
little slight rounding at the
You,
back, so I think it's
you're
probably
not.
gonna get deemed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I
not gonna
feel
get
like
that 2x premium then.
the hobby gateway used to be your ultra rare NES, ultra rare
Yeah,
Atari, which were still prefaced on the idea of how valuable they are. Oh my
yeah,
God, you have to go and find these types of games. And now it's just kind of evolved to the gateway of being here's your factory sealed Mario 64. Oh my God, look how cool it is. But
yeah,
instead of it being random rare title, it's Mario 64. So more people can relate.
yeah,
But I think
yeah,
as they come in, as you say, we want more people in this hobby. Okay, cool. Mario 64 is amazing. Wow, look at all these other N64 games that I grew up with or I never did grow up with. And then you kind of actually become a collector, if you want to say, start as an
yeah,
investor, start as, you know what I mean? You come in with the
yeah.
financial proposition and evolve.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I want to get these guys in. You got to get them in the door, right? First
Yeah,
one's free,
yeah.
guys. First one's free. Just just hook them however we can and get them buying games.
Is that how we get exit liquidity in the graded market? Like we just
Yeah,
give
I mean,
everyone a free.
yeah. Look, I think if your first graded game was free, there would be a lot more graded games. And if you thought, look, and if that box was beautiful and you brought it home and you were like, this thing looks and feels amazing in my hands, how many more graded games are you gonna think about after that?
You're on to
Look,
something.
I got schemes. I got schemes. Limited run, hit me up. I'll double. I'll 2x your sales. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Do you do cards or comics at all? Because like it seems like over there still is a very strong, or it is a strong, very established part of the hobby where games just isn't.
Yeah, so,
How does that evolve?
yeah, I got
That
some
looks pretty
comics.
graded to me. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a graded
looks
one. It's
nice.
only a 5.5, but it is like a Silver Age Batman first appearance of the Scarecrow. Not that I care about graded stuff.
Did you
Well,
just get it because do you do graded comics? Do you actually?
I
I can't
do.
tell if it's sarcasm or not.
I got about like 50 graded comics. But I still don't chase condition. Like what I want is like a kind
okay.
of nice one, which is great because people grade and they get like an 8 on something and I'm like, perfect. That looks pretty good in a case. And
What's that scarecrow cost though if you were to take it to an 8-9? Like a lot of that
oh
shit gets super expensive.
God, I mean, I don't even know. It would like 20x the price from a
That's
5. Yeah, because this is back in the day, right? This is a Silver Age book
I see it
from
as
like
a
67.
luxury that we can chase conditions
Yeah.
still in games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like right now, like if you're collecting Switch and you've got a 9.0, fucking throw that shit in the garbage, okay?
Thank you.
Trash. If you don't have a 9.8, like 9.6 maybe if you're feeling really bad about your
No,
life.
nine eight, nine
Look,
eight, A plus
look,
at least.
look,
9.8 A plus at least.
I said if you're feeling really bad about your life and you can't bear to do it because you sent in a case pack and you can't and
Okay.
you didn't get a 9.8, maybe you keep
All
196
right.
and hope to get lucky.
Okay.
But like, yeah,
Fine.
you should be like if you're sending in Switch and PS5, it should be 9.8s, guys. This you have the luxury. It's never going to be easier than it is right now to get this stuff. If you care about grades and you care about like buy two, like man, it's so cheap right now too. People are like always like games are so expensive. Man, have you looked at a sports card? Have
That's
you
gonna
even
get you chastised too. Calling games expensive,
yeah.
buddy. Get ready
Not
for
no,
the hate.
they're not expensive, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry games aren't that expensive. What did it cost you? Especially if you're grading Switch games. What are you talking about? You spent $50, $60, you spent $40 to get it in. Cool. Great. You didn't spend that much money. Now, everyone has a different financial threshold for what they, but I'm talking comparative to other hobbies that are deeply embedded in grading. If you look at a sports card, your skin will turn white if you talk about how much sports cards cost. Like, you want to talk about
Sports
market
cards that were
manipulation?
printed this year.
Yeah, pump and dump. Oh, you got that Shohei Ohtani? Oh, cool. When did that come out? This year? Oh, cool.
And it's $1 million.
And it's
Oh,
$1
cool.
million.
Yeah, but we only printed
That
one of
50
them.
50,
Yeah.
yeah, 50 exactly. So it's the whole serialization thing that they
Yeah.
rely on to keep this pump going.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
mean,
Yeah,
completely artificial bullshit rarity, and
complete.
that's what I
Yeah.
don't want to see in the game. It's like, okay, that's why I like look at limited run. I'm like, why are you guys so bad at this? Like,
I
why
feel
aren't you
like they're
sending?
gonna do that soon. I
They
feel like they're
should.
gonna do it soon.
They
They
should be
should.
having their shit pre-graded. They should have 100 pre-graded games the day it comes out. You want talk about we got this amount of 10s, we got this many 9.8s available. And what we did like 3 special covers in here.
Exactly.
We put the shit
Serializations, one of
like, and
ones,
we put
whatever. Yep.
yeah, and we sealed them in a brown bag. Okay, the sealed game is in a sealed brown bag. If you want to know what you know what the grade is, but if you want to know if you got the special cover, you got to open that shit up, and it's $200, right? They're $50 game, and you're gonna get people who are in there for the gambling and the chase. I
Yep.
watch people open trading cards all day long. I play
Yep.
Magic, played Magic a long time. Like, man, people love cracking packs. Make video games more like trading cards. Has anyone ever heard of, I don't know, this little thing called Pokemon? You ever seen what they've done? Guys, like new sets of Pokemon are 2x the price the day of release now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Journey with friends or whatever the
Yeah,
stupid
yeah,
new
yeah,
set
yeah.
is.
Journey together.
Journey together. Yeah. That's it. Well, retail on that is supposed to be like $100. Okay. Those boxes are 250 or whatever the day they start. All the shit's getting graded. There's already graded 10s coming back from Rush Service from CGC. And those cards are hundreds of dollars already for stuff that was printed this year, 2025 stuff, not 2024, less than a year old. And we're going to sit here and be like, my $5,000 video game is too expensive. Yo, you got one of the sweetest video games that was $5,000?
So
Okay,
You
sad.
let's
will
not.
never convince a wider audience of that.
No, not yet, but they will one day. Like, all you need is a little bit of perspective and like walk around other hobbies and be like, you don't know how good we have it in video games that we can walk around and get bullshit variants and like, oh yeah, I've got like one of these games and I'm only like 4 are ever known. Do you know what that would be like if you could walk into a sports card? It doesn't even matter what it is. You're like, I've got one of 5 of these known of this
I just
sports
saw a
card.
Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'd never seen it before, like some Tokyo Dome Meteor Black Dragon. One of 4 of them, I guess, and it was like $340,000 on
Yeah,
Instagram.
right.
Sold.
That
Sold.
yeah. That's what the world is outside of video
And
games.
Yu-Gi-Oh is dead.
And Yu-Gi-Oh sucks, exactly.
Yeah, dead game.
It's dead.
Dead game. Yeah. You
Okay.
get the real shit. Get like get one of these.
Oh. Is that alpha?
I'm not telling Henry.
I don't know about Magic to tell you. Like, I can't. I know
I'm
it's a
just telling you
Lotus,
it's
that's it.
that's all you need to know, right? Like, why do I have that? Because like get your best stuff if you can, and like
No, bro.
if you can.
So you understand grading, you get grading. It's just not for you in video games because that's not what
because
interests you, and that's
that's
it.
yeah,
And that's
that's
fine.
that's it. That's
why
it's not what drives
But
me
you
to do it.
understand it, and then you understand it for other people, and you're totally
Is it
cool
because
with
you're
it. It's just
not
what you
as
do.
deep in other hobbies that you like gravitate towards more
what I think
graded
so, too.
stuff and only a few? Like you said, you have what, 50 graded comics?
Yeah. Well, I have 50 graded comics. I have like a shameful amount of comics in my garage that I wish I could make myself turn into trash.
Okay.
Okay. So, but I mean, I just read comics. As a kid, I just grew up reading comics, like 90s trash Batman comics. I love Batman. I don't know if you see the shirt, but I love me some Batman. Okay.
I see it.
I've loved Batman my whole life, and that's like it's always my favorite comic. And like back in the day, we talked about complete runs of Batman, and that's like how we got into sets of video games. Like, I've got the complete run. So you trick yourself, and they give you these crack lists, right? It's like, here's a checklist. I call it a crack list, but it's like if you have any kind of OCD brain, you're like, there's a checklist, read it. Do you have all of them on the checklist? No. Do you feel bad about that? Yes. You know
I've
what
said
to
it
do.
for a long time. We need checklists in this hobby.
Yeah. Well,
There
it's
should
what
be. Go ahead.
it's what I do. It's what I do with all my lists. I just make a checklist, and so I know everything I have. But that's how you get sets, okay? Because you're like, what isn't on the list?
We need like master lists accessible though. Is what like we need the download spot, the main hub is what we I guess I think we lack that still in this hobby.
We do. We lack a lot of normal tools that other hobbies have.
Yes.
Right? Like there's not a good book. There's a lot of bad takes. I'll give
You
you
can
plenty
get
of them.
Pat's book, can't you? Isn't that the
Yeah, Pat's book, right? Yeah.
Just get Pat's book.
You could.
That's certainly an option.
It's a choice you can make. You can also go slam your hand in a car door if you want. There's a lot of things you can do with your time. Okay? You can eat raw cactus, you can drink expired milk, you can buy Pat's book. These are all things you could do. Would I do any of those? No.
No, I haven't bought the
Not
book
on
either.
purpose?
So
No. Why not?
We don't need it. Speaking about Pat's book, what do you think about Switch collecting in general?
do you
Switch
modern
collecting-
collect at all? Yeah,
I mean,
anything.
I mean, yeah, I buy games because I like games. This is the problem. I like games, so I buy a lot of games. I want to see a lot of stuff. But when you talk about, Johnny, how many sealed games do you have? Well, a lot of them are Switch. Do I have like a couple hundred sealed Switch games? I do.
I'm surprised. I'm actually
I
quite
like-
surprised.
I like games, man. I like isn't this not apparent? I just like games. That's why I don't want them sealed. I want to touch them. I want to look at them.
Well,
Like with Switch stuff, it's not that interesting though. That's like you should grade Switch games because there's zero interest in Switch games. It's the least
How
interesting.
did you like what drives you though then? So you're saying all this like they suck, they're not interesting, they're sealed. Why?
Obsessive compulsive behavior, mental illness. What do you want me to say? I like games, so I'm like, oh yeah, I do like that, and maybe I lie to myself. I'm like, I could play it. Maybe I'll play it.
Yeah, are you chasing after like unique specific genres, rarity, or
I love Nintendo, so it's like, I gotta get all the Marios, right? Like, I gotta get all the Marios. So it's like, oh, I gotta get all the Zelda. I like all the Nintendo first party stuff, like, obviously. Like, couldn't just leave those around. 1-2 Switch, why not? Why not 1-2 Switch?
oh god.
Yeah, for a lot of good reasons. Yeah,
Interesting.
Look, again, I told you, I got a lot of dumb things I do. Don't listen to me. Don't do what I do. Listen to my words. Don't buy Switch games, kids, unless you want to play them or you want to grade them immediately and like get your 3D Mario All-Star. Switch is amazing. What an amazing collectible that you can get, like, as far as like every like Nintendo game that's ever been made ever is like almost re-released. Every like classic system, every RPG you could ever want, you can just play it on the Switch or a Steam Deck and like have a physical cartridge. Yeah, what a cool system for that stuff. It's also consistent. Nice.
Does that
red
kill
spines.
retro collecting or does it make it bigger? And I'm most curious. Like, does that help or hurt the past when we start bringing everything forward?
Bigger. Look at all the re-releases. Yeah. Look, people are going to see a downturn right now. You look at Suikoden 2 or something right now because they just re-released it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the value died. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to go back up. It's going to go back up because
like
eventually,
5 to 10 years?
Maybe it might take that long. It might not. But what people will do is realize that this is not the original. This is not the first thing. This isn't actually the thing. But what it did was exposed all of these people. Like, think about Nintendo. When did we have our biggest boom of Nintendo? Well, could you buy all those games on the Wii U? Could you buy them on the Switch? Could you get them on the NES Classic, right? Like the little mini? Yeah, you could. And then what did more people get? They got exposed to something. This hobby they reprint DVDs and into Blu-rays, into like records. How many iterations of records are there? A record is reprinted 1,000 times. They're still collectible, new prints. People will then, though, go back to the original thing. The original thing will always be the best, usually the best thing. And that's like, but you need people, you need to get them in the door. Like, I'm sorry, I'm like, yeah, you want to play Super Mario Brothers? Okay, so what you got to do is get yourself a CRT. Okay. Oh, you don't know what that is. Okay. So imagine a TV that's as heavy as a truck for no reason. I mean, because it's full of glass tubes. And then there's something called an RF connector. You're going to need one of those. So you screw that in. You physically, okay. Make sure the channel is on 3.
Your TV doesn't have one of those? Oh, okay. Maybe we'll have to...
Okay. you can splice it. You can splice your RF connector because it's actually just two wires, and you can put them up. You can wrap them up in the screws, and like if it doesn't, this like who's gonna do this? You're gonna tell my 6-year-old son who like can play Minecraft on his iPad that like he should go do that? No, you got to make it accessible. You got to make it easy for people
So
to
it
do
doesn't
this.
bring people back to play those games necessarily, but in a collecting sense.
Yeah, I mean, some people will want to play it on original hardware. Look, look at vinyl, the story of vinyl. It went from a dead format, dead. No one in the 90s, vinyl was dead. Early 2000, vinyl was dead. Started to somehow come back. People just had nostalgia for it. Now the biggest physical media releases in music are vinyl. Vinyl is the number one seller for music, for physical copies of music. CDs are hard to find and pretty much dead. And you could argue whether you think CDs are better or just going to iTunes or wherever or Spotify. This is a land where you have Spotify and Apple Music. You can play anything you want. People are lining up. Today was record store day, and they were out there in lines, giant ass lines to get a Taylor Swift album. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. So there is an arc for things to come back.
Yeah, so Switch 2 is getting more expensive, right? You saw price increases, I'm sure,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're pushing more towards digital. So what is the future then of game collecting as you talk about vinyl and these comparisons? Would video games have a sort of comparison as we go to an all digital future?
Yeah, I mean, I know people like this has been a take I've had for a long time, and I know people get tired of hearing it. And Tyler has said it a little, but yeah. So I think there is a path. You're going to have more boutique collectors and more specialty collectors because, like, if you go right now, the future is already here, guys. I hate to tell you. You ever walk into a Best Buy in 2010 and walk down a video game aisle? Walk down a video game section. It was huge. It
Yep.
was just wall to wall video games. Okay, GameStops were big. You could walk in. GameStops are closing.
I
Best
don't
Buy
go to
barely
video
has
game
anything.
stores like any of the Best Buy, GameStop,
Yeah.
like games are an afterthought.
Yeah, that's I'm in Target like 3 times a week, and it isn't for games, guys. Their sections are shrinking. The amount of games that are physically sent there are low. Print runs have never been lower in the history of video games for physical games because more people are buying digital. So these things are going away. Limited Run is the biggest publisher of physical games in the world.
Yep.
A limited print company is the biggest publisher of games that has ever been. Take that in for a second. The biggest publisher is Limited Run Games. Okay, it's an oxymoron already. But this is what the nature of it. You're going to have super rare games. You're going to have companies like this that, as we go to a digital future, you'll start to get boutique releases. Maybe Nintendo, if they're smart, will cash in on that. Like, oh, we're going to do like, select copies of these games, only getting a physical release, or it's just a code in a box, but we added these tchotchkes in here. I think that sounds disgusting and I hate it, but like that's like really the path. Or like eventually you'll get to a point where they're like, if Switch 2 is out long enough, they're like, oh, we just stopped printing physical games for the Switch 2. Only like we only do like 100 print runs or specialty from the Nintendo store only. Like, can you imagine once Nintendo realizes they can like really shrink their market and then sell direct only? Do you know how much more money you make direct than through third-party partners? Like, man, this is going to be so much better. You're going to shrink it. You're going to make it boutique. You're going to like, if Nintendo, like, how
But
much
is
money do
that
you
the
think
start of
Nintendo
the
would make?
death? Is that the
No,
start of the death of
because
this hobby then?
it's not this. No, because the games will there. Then you'll get people really ramping up and like, okay, video games have a finite end. Okay, they have a finite end, and then they'll do the other thing. They'll start re-releasing these things because look at limited run games already. They're releasing games for like, didn't they just have like one where they're like, oh, this is like a Jaguar game? And you're like, oh, cool. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
But
no,
there's
some of them have
lots
been
of
really
GBA
freaking
releases.
weird. Like N64
Yeah,
Pod Racer gets like a
yeah.
thing, and it's like you
They
can buy
did a
the
whole line of
original
Star
for
Wars.
less money.
Yeah, well, that was like my whole thing. Like they release these games, and you're like, RC Pro Am 2.
Yeah.
Like you can just go buy RC Pro Am 2. Why would you spend $70? RC Pro Am, like, I don't know. There's a lot of games where it made like no sense, where the original was still cheaper than the limited run release, just like a nice CIB. The Street Fighter 2 special edition, like back when they first like did that I am 8-bit, they released that. Tyler and I did a whole thing. We're like, guys, we're looking at sealed Street Fighter 2s for $130, or you can go buy this one from I am 8-bit for $100. That might set your house on fire. Cool.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's the path forward, right? Because look at what records have done. We're still releasing so many records that were turned out in the millions in the 70s. How many Beatles albums are they still releasing? It's not going to be everything. We're not going to see you're not going to see more daring games for girls released, right? But you are going to see Mario's and stuff get released. They'll start to see a path where they can be like, oh, we did this special edition. Like, could you imagine if Nintendo just did a box set of all the original black box games? They're like, this is $1,000. We're only making 1,000 of them. Here's all the black box games. They're all in gold
Sell out
cartridges or all in
instantly.
black carts. Like, people would be all over that shit.
Johnny,
Like,
so
especially once it's dead.
I think I dread a future if we go into a serialization limited. I think I would
it's
check
gonna
out.
happen for
I would check
it's gonna
out though. Like
happen
that's
for
that's why I
LG.
hate that's why I hate sports
So,
cards.
yeah, the
No,
biggest.
but here's
Go ahead.
here's the thing though. Like I feel like people who collect vintage, like the retro stuff that we collect versus the people who collect modern are still two different collectors, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess the question overall is also like once physical media actually dies off, does this make retro seals like retro game collecting die off even more? Or would it make the people who want to collect this stuff be like, oh crap, this stuff is going away. Maybe it's time for me to buy it all up because it's just gonna be gone.
I think Tyler
Well,
was on the side, right? That is it. Like it's gonna phase out.
Yeah.
Generations are gonna
Yeah,
like
yeah,
leave.
I don't know if
exactly.
that's true. I think there's a path for all those people for people to be brought back in, especially because what do people love about games, right? And even they do love some rarity, right? Like, oh, the idea that everyone can't have this, that it's gone, that it's walked off the face of the earth. Now I have stuff that's unobtainium, right? Like, oh, no one else can get this.
That's the good
I have
stuff.
this thing. Yeah, we can get all the stuff now. Like all the list will be complete. There will be no more exploration left, like all the stuff. So I think the biggest hurdle, and this is the thing that I really think console makers will need to embrace or figure out. There's no standard format for retro games. So it's not as easy as records. You go buy a record player, 10 different companies can release a record. I can listen to a record.
Mm,
Sega,
no.
Nintendo release a game. Nintendo releases 3 games. They release 3 different Marios from 3 different systems. I need 3 different consoles to play them. Okay. How do we overcome that? There's not a unified format. So you need something uh like a Retron or something gross like that, or a Polymega. But could you imagine if Nintendo just made that? They remade a classic system because they realized that their future was reprinting some of these games, or just let license to someone to have an official Nintendo that played 5 different is the ultimate Nintendo, because now we're done with physical, so we can it's not a harm to our business to release this. You need a standard format for people to be able to keep playing all this stuff. This is the biggest barrier at entry right now. We can't play it on an old TV, and I got like 50 different ports I got to plug in. That's why a Polymega is like pretty sweet, especially for CD games, because it plays most CD based games. I can throw in a TurboGrafx CD game in it. I can throw in a Sega CD, a Sega Saturn, and a PS1 game.
Yeah, that's
What's like,
sick.
where can you even do that? That's like one port. That's one port. Like, how easy is that? It's not like a Nintendo. Like, okay, if this port handled Super Famicom, N64, and Super Nintendo, NES, like that would be awesome. How do we get that? How do you give that to people so they can make it so boutique releases come out? Because like, IM 8-bit can do all they want, and limited run games can do all they want. But if new kids can't get that stuff, if they're not interested, it will die, right? Like if there's no way
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them
We
to do
need to
that stuff,
bridge that gap with the newer
yeah,
gen. 100%.
yeah,
I think it comes
or
with
it'll be
that
gone.
gambling serialization and everything we already see in sports, Magic, and Pokemon. We'll see
Yeah,
where we
Pokemon
go.
not
it'll
yet.
be a question of
Oh,
if
no,
we get
not
there,
yeah,
if
not
people do it.
serialization in Pokemon,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh man, I would love serialized Pokemon games. Like, could you imagine if they did like a one for the original 151, right? Like you just did a serialized cover of
All
one
they
of
need
each
to
of
do
those.
is
You
toss
could,
a shiny on the cover. That's it. One of
yeah,
100.
Exactly.
You get a
To
shiny.
spoil it up. That's it.
yeah,
Foil a shiny. Done.
yeah. I mean, but imagine if you did one for each Pokemon, you just had a special release of that. You could get like oh, you could get this, you could get shiny. We have 100, like, man, Pokemon people are
151
insane.
different covers.
Yeah. People are insane though. This way it's like you say that, but look at the way people buy Pokemon cards. It's insane. I
They
walk into
do.
my buddy owns a card store, right? So I just watch people come in, and the money that people drop on Pokemon casually,
Yep.
parents coming in casually dropping a few grand just on a Saturday. I'm like, bro, it's Saturday, April 12th. What did you just do? Well, it's not a special occasion. There's like, woo, light it on fire. Let's crack Pokemon.
You just bought the
So
Grails of NES, Super Nintendo, like
yeah, I'm like, well, Speed Racer Mountain Bike Extratainment is a rare combo card and it costs $2,000. They're like, cool, cool. Have you seen Pikachu? I'm like, well,
like
that
this
was
time he's wearing a
more.
hat. Like he
Yeah,
has a hat on.
yeah. Oh, but this one they made look like Van Gogh. Look at him. I'm like, objectively, it is very cool and I like it a lot. But who cares?
The
But
price
they
relativity is
yeah,
insanity, and yeah, yeah.
so easy. We're all wrong, and that's what I want to tell your audience. You made a mistake. Sell your video games and go buy Pokemon cards. You are wrong. If you don't have the base set, you're trash. You've made mistakes. Black
I
box
saw a,
games.
before we went here. I saw a Instagram reel of like a Pokemon vendor, and the guy, like a Pokemon card content person, and the
Yeah.
guy he was dealing cards with was Sick Cooper from Double Jump Games. And I was
Oh,
just like, oh, you, like, god damn it,
yeah.
of course, like, of
Yeah,
course.
obviously. Yeah. So I was just at Midwestern Gaming Classic, right? And every vendor just had randomly like packs of Pokemon cards. It's just like, yeah, of course you do.
Yeah,
Because this is like it's the biggest thing in the world right now. It's just like, okay, I just wish I had a bunch of shadowless Charizards, I guess would be where I should be at. But instead, hey, I've got Super Mario with a hang tab.
you got a full Genesis set.
I do. Look at it. Cool.
There's got to be at least
That's
I'm,
great.
$1,000 back there. Like one, two, three,
I know.
four.
yeah.
Like how many games do you
There's a
got?
few. Ooh, don't forget 32X and Sega CD. You want some Dreamcast games? Nice. Those
Speaking
Yeah.
about
games.
Dreamcast games, if your house was on fire, you only had to take a couple of games. You're gonna take those Dreamcast games or something else?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Here's the truth
they
about
can burn,
Dreamcast.
right?
Yeah, here's the
Yeah,
truth about Dreamcast. There's no tens. There's no tens on the Dreamcast. Don't grade a Dreamcast game, you garbage lords. Stop it. What a trash system. If I'm grabbing one thing, like, and it
yeah.
sounds like a hokey answer. Um, I'm not grabbing anything, guys. I'm taking the things that actually mean things. I'm grabbing my son. I'm grabbing my dog and my
No, no,
wife.
no.
Like these are
You have to
that,
assume.
that
You have to assume they're all
if they're all
okay.
safe, they're all safe,
Yeah.
and I get to come in and take one thing.
Yeah, one or
Yes.
two. We'll give you, a little leeway.
Okay.
I get it. You got a lot of
So
games.
The miracle piano can burn. All right.
yeah,
Do you just like
no, I'm
all three of them under your arms? Like we gotta go.
dude, two of them are in the garage so far back that I would have to climb on top of two different shelving units to get it. Um,
Okay.
no, I would probably take Outback Joey because it's
Outback
objectively very
Joey.
expensive. That's
Do you have
hard
a full
because I got some
CIB one as
expensive Game
well?
Boy stuff. Well, I have the
You got
Blockbuster
the
World
console.
Championship. Well, I have the yeah, I do. I've got the
Yeah.
few. I can't like really right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
there it
got one
is.
too, man.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I got one too. You and me.
yeah. Me and you,
Yeah.
trash lords.
Yeah. Yeah, trash
So
lords. That's the only trash I have, though.
okay, I don't believe you. If you got that in your house, you've made
You don't
mistakes.
believe me? I will show you a picture of it. I actually bought it from
No, I
Jason
believe you. I
Wilson.
believe you have that. I just don't believe you don't
Yeah.
have any other garbage in your house. I just think you've
Oh.
made a mistake.
Oh
You
yeah, yeah. Collecting
yeah.
video games was a mistake to begin with. Yeah. Right.
So like that and probably the Blockbuster World Championship card because that's like those are just like there's not many Blockbuster World Championship cards. They just don't
How
really
many are
exist.
known? Like
Like 12.
7?
It
12?
is-
Okay.
Like between 10 and or between like 5 and 12.
It is
Like, that's the-
hilarious how underappreciated it is as a collectible.
Yeah.
It's
I
Judge
sound like
Dredd
a
and
Sega
NBA
guy.
Jam. That's why.
Yeah. Well, and the Punisher. Don't forget the Punisher.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad.
I'm not like a huge Sega guy. It looks like it because the Sega wall's behind me. I'm a Nintendo guy. Like the other thing I would take is I still have my original Final Fantasy 2 from when I was a kid
Mm.
and my Super Nintendo. Like, and it's in shit condition and doesn't have the original box. But like, if I could get those things out, like I would be like, okay. But I mean, I've already like, that's the other thing. I don't hide, like, I don't have a safety vault or a safe deposit box with all my good stuff. I don't go into the safe in our house and be like, I'm putting all of my expensive games in here. My games, the expensive games are on the shelves, guys. Like the Outback Joey's right there. The Blockbuster World Championships, it's like up over there. They all just sit like, hey, my big box Tarzan, which no one has, it's like right over there. Does anyone care about a big box Tarzan with all the figures? No one gives a shit. I got my big box Rampage over there too. I know you're excited, Greg, but no one else is.
I mean, it's kind of cool, man.
Like,
I still have I never got a Tarzan box, but I have an empty Rampage box, but I never wanted to
oh,
spend like $900 on a fucking plush keychain.
oh, why not? Why not? You could get a Lizzie plush.
I
It would
have a
be so
lot
good in
of
your box.
issues, but I guess that's where I drew the line.
Yeah, you should not spend money. Like, being an adult man buying a bunch of stuffed animals, I'm judging you. Stop it. And if you want an insane hobby, go look at people who buy. There's expensive plushes in the world. It's insane. There's
Yeah.
a whole community that buys them. You're just like, holy shit. I feel a lot better every time I spend too much money on a video game. If you want to feel better about your life, go look at expensive plush sales on eBay and just be like, holy shit, at least I didn't do that. Yeah, that's some judgment for you, but you're like, okay.
Unironically, like you are correct.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah, yeah. It's like the prices. You're just like, oh God, what is? And there's a bunch of expensive Pokemon. That's like I told you that we had a joke episode about plushies because I wanted, like, stumbled into it one day. I'm like, how much money did this original Mario plush go for? And then like, I just like, well, how expensive do stuffed animals get? And this is where the sickness comes from and how I get all these games, because one question begets another question begets another. Well, if that one did that, then what else?
Yeah.
What else happened? How did this one go? Where did this go? How did we get here? Why did they
But
get here?
that's what drives. I think if you really get deep into this hobby and you actually start enjoying it, like that is what drives the passion. Because you start answering those questions. Like, yeah, you're always gonna have the people who are like, oh, cool, factory sealed Mario, blah blah blah. But like, okay, Mario exists. Well, what other games are factory sealed? What else has value? What's rare? And you start going, and
Yeah.
that'll forever be a thing.
Yep. And that's the world we live in, and that's where I want to be. I love games. I love to learn. That's my story, guys. I love to learn and I like games. Just it's the most basic answer, and that's it. I just like.
Yeah,
like
I
finding
assume
out
we'll
about
have you
stuff.
back on because honestly, this was awesome. Like you have a lot to say and you know so freaking much that it's impossible to like you could info dump on anything for any amount of time, it seems like. So I assume we'll have you back on in the
For
future.
any amount of time.
Well, they're podcasting 3
minimum.
hours every
3
episode.
hours minimum. 3 hours minimum.
Just every time. And people are disappointed when we don't hit that 3 hours. So my advice for anyone who's like, oh, I'm gonna go check out that collector's quest, set aside some time, know what you're in for, and then
Drive a truck.
Drive a truck. That a lot of truck drivers, but just be aware that we're not a sit down and finish a whole episode in one sitting kind of. We're like your weekly drive kind of podcast. Put us on until the next good thing comes on, and then come back. And don't go back to our old episodes. Don't touch anything before like episode. Like, don't look at anything pre-episode like 100. Okay, that's like real bad.
I kind of feel the same way about my older content, so like I get it. I get it fully.
It's legit trash. I think if I could purge it from the internet, I might.
Strong words. I think we're an hour long, so
history.
sorry to disappoint you guys. You can get way more Johnny over on Collector's Quest Podcast. Thank you again for coming on, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye, guys.